Now, this is video day 3, but I had to make a little bit of a change as I was editing it together. So we're going to call it 3A, which will be followed by the fourth part, which will be 3B. You'll understand why at the end of the video this has been split into 2. So let's get to it. Well, hello and welcome to day 3 of Around the Taiwan Coast. Of course, I stayed in some of the places for a few days. Yilan, which I'm leaving right now, I stayed for a couple of days enjoying the beach. And this was part of the trip that I was really looking forward to, because the east side of Taiwan is absolutely phenomenal. Traveling south from Yilan and then crossing over to the west side, to the city of Kaohsiung where I was staying, isn't that long. It's only about 9 hours. And it's 9 hours of the most beautiful roads and beautiful views that you can ever experience. And I always tell people that if you are going to ride around Taiwan, it's always best to start, I think, on the east coast than it is the west coast. Especially if you ride in the mornings where you have the sun is behind you, and if you leave early like this, there's practically no traffic on the road. Occasionally you'll see a cyclist like you saw right now, somebody on a scooter or two, but in fact the roads are pretty much bare. So it is absolutely fantastic. Now, something I should mention is that for the purpose of this video, I am actually editing out a lot of it. I will be uploading the full-length video of the roads a little bit later on. So now I'm entering the road, which actually goes through the mountains along the coast. There is another road you can take, the Suhua Highway or Expressway, which they built a few years ago, but this is the original old road, and the original old road, I have to say, is much nicer. The new one is a tunnel system that they built, and it does reduce the travel time dramatically. The only problem with that is that even though I like going through tunnels, especially if the tunnels are interesting, this tunnel just plain isn't interesting. Some of the tunnels, because it's not just one, it's sort of like maybe you do 5 kilometers of a tunnel, then you're outside, then it goes right away to another tunnel. Some are 5, some are 10. The longest being, I think it's 21.2 kilometers. And that is just extremely dull, because they have speed restrictions, very strict speed restrictions of, I believe, when I did it anyway, a couple of years ago, 50 kilometers an hour, and you must keep a certain distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you. And it's the kind of thing, like if you've ever ridden on a road which is completely straight and completely flat, it can be boring, and especially when it's inside the tunnel. and you can't speed up, you can't go faster, you can't pass anybody. It's a little bit annoying. Second, the other big thing, of course, is that the noise inside that tunnel is just it is extraordinary. The only way I can put it, it is extraordinary. Now, this section of the road here, heading south, was actually closed for quite some time. Most of it was closed for quite some time because of the earthquake that we had here in August. And I believe it may have been 4 weeks or 5 weeks. I'm just going to take some coffee right now. I just made it, so it's still hot. There was a period where if you wanted to go from Yilan to Datong in the south, you couldn't because everything was closed off. And it was something you had to go from the north, cross the Taipei, and then cross on the east side. And then when you reach Kaohsiung, cross over the mountain. So it added a really longer time. If you wanted to go, let's say, from Hualien to Yilan, which you can do very quickly in maybe 90 minutes, a couple of hours, you couldn't. You had to go all around the east side to get to it. And that was even for trains, because the trains also were not running for a while because of the earthquake. There was a lot of debris on the road. You'll see some of the removal equipment, or you may have seen it already. Some of the removal equipment was still by the side of the road at this time. When I do upload the full video, you will see actually how amazing this road is, because you have this astonished looking mountain on one side, and then on the other side, the Pacific Ocean. There are, however, certain things you do have to watch out for. There are occasionally falling rocks. So there are signs along the side of the road marking off areas where you do have to watch out for falling rocks. And these are rocks that fall not just because there's an earthquake, just because they happen to fall. But if you take care in those sections, like this is one of them right now, because, this section, by the way, here that we're going through, we're going to be going through this really old tunnel, and they actually had to rebuild this whole section of road right here. This was completely wiped out during the earthquake. There were some people that were stuck on the inside of the tunnel because it was just completely covered. But if you pay attention to the signs, you're told where the rocks fall, then you really don't have much to worry about. But it's a road that you don't want to ride at night, because of course at night there are no street lights on this section of road, and it is very, very, very dark, and things will fall and you just won't see them. And that does occasionally happen with some people that ride at night and really don't pay too much attention. I've done this road a couple of times. It was always during the day. I only did it once at night, and I thought to myself, never again. It just wasn't enjoyable. It just wasn't enjoyable. No traffic, as you can see. And I decided to stop, take a couple of pictures. I actually took quite a few of them, which I've uploaded on my Instagram and Facebook account. But I'm going to make another video of just the pictures much later on. As I continued, like I said, this was only supposed to be 9 hours. Just over 9 hours. I thought that I would arrive in Kaohsiung probably around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But that didn't exactly happen. And you'll see why in a moment. And I will have more on that in the second video. So just enjoy the couple of pictures. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next week.